on Elder Barge or something. Hey, so Dr. Collier.
Yes, sir.
So there are not enough ventilators, right? It is getting real bad in New York. We are how many days behind Italy?
About 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're about 2 weeks behind Italy. Trump supposed to be sending boats up there to the hospital. So, Dr. Collier.
Yes.
How bad is it going to get? And is it true that it's really hitting a lot of black men?
Yes, just like virtually any other disease process, black men seem to be at a higher susceptibility rate, and they're getting worse disease, and they're dying at a higher rate. So,
and why is that?
One, most of the time they have those pre-existing conditions such as hypertension, diabetes, and the metabolic syndrome, high cholesterol. So this hypertension thing is directly related, and that's one of the reasons we were talking about the Motrin or the ibuprofen and why you wouldn't use it. Well, Motrin has an effect on what's called angiotensin-converting enzyme. This is an enzyme that's in your lungs that increases your blood pressure, and a lot of blood pressure medicines block the effect of that enzyme. Well, ibuprofen theoretically can increase the activity of what's called ACE receptors, and that's where they bind to the cells in the lungs. So individuals that have high blood pressure, they have high levels of angiotensin-converting enzyme, and ibuprofen theoretically could increase that. That's why they're saying that you shouldn't take ibuprofen. But that's theoretical. There's been no real recommendation not to use it. But when the question is asked, you don't have to answer it. Just don't take it, and then you don't have a problem. I told you your two choices in that case would be Tylenol or Aleve, which is naproxen and naproxen sodium, which doesn't have that same effect. So, Rickey, hospitals are putting together protocols right now to create tiered levels of care, which means that if you have a person who's really sick and they're old and they have concomitant diseases like cancer or HIV, they're going to make a decision either to put those people on respirators, see if they respond quickly and take them off, or just not put them on ventilators and choose somebody who has a better chance of survival. Now, that's a reality check that we have to have because, again, when you have limited resources, you got to make a decision as to where you allocate those resources.
Now, Dr. Collier, real quick, what's the difference between a respirator and a ventilator for those who don't know, like me?
Well, respirators are usually higher quality masked. Okay, that individuals use. They call those respirators. So that's a protective gear for the patient that has it and for people that are taking care of them, the nurses and the doctors that are taking care of them. A ventilator, actually, usually you're intubated. They put a tube down your throat into your bronchial tubes and your trachea, and that pushes oxygen, either a pure oxygen or some variation, some degree of oxygen, at a higher pressure so that it can cross the barrier in your lungs. Now, this is pretty scientific, so listen up. When you are breathing, the oxygen transportation has to occur on a cellular level that's only one cell layer thick. That's how lungs work. That's where CO2 comes out of your body and oxygen goes into your body. Well, if you get swelling, edema, fibrosis, where you have now more than one cell layer thick, no matter how much oxygen you put in the lungs, you're not going to have transportation of oxygen across the cell membrane. So your body will not take the oxygen in. So that's what kills people. They do not have effective transportation of oxygen across the cells in their lungs. And that happens very, very quickly once the lungs get inflamed and they swell and they're no longer just one cell layer thick at the point of oxygen transportation. So that's when you get acute respiratory distress syndrome, and that's when people, they're beyond repair. You can't fix that, and that's when you have a bad outcome.
Wow. All right, Dr. Collier, you going to check back in with us?
Oh, absolutely. We're going to come back in at the 8 o'clock hour because I got a couple more points I want to make and people need to hear about. And Rickey Smiley.
Yeah.
Did you know one of your favorite people in the whole wide world, Prince Charles, has tested positive for the coronavirus?
Yeah.
The heir to the king, but his wife is testing negative. His wife, is testing negative, but he is testing positive. And so we wish him a speedy recovery. But it's amazing how this is affecting. Doesn't matter how much money you have, what your status is, how blue your blood is, it's affecting everybody.
Man, Dr. Collier, we really appreciate it. Let everybody know how they can find you.
Okay, ask the Hip Hop Doc, ask Dr. MJ Collier on all social media, and we got this weekend. We're really gonna flood it with a lot of videos and a lot of good information for people that they'll have resources to go to and capture some of this information.
There it is, man. I appreciate you, Dr. Collier.